Hello, my lovely, beautiful queens. You're here to attract your soul husband, your forever love, your future husband. And I'm so excited for you because it is the most beautiful gift you can give yourself. And I don't know where, I mean, if you feel free to drop it in the chat if it's something you're open to sharing, but if you've been through heartbreak or divorce before, or you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing in dating. It's been a struggle and I'm ready to actually call in that person, that forever person who's going to, well, okay, for example, this week has been nutty. It's been so crazy. My daughter, I have a 3-year-old daughter. She's been sick. I have this class that I planned last week. I'm like, I'm teaching this. I can't wait. And I have to prep for it. She has to stay home for school. And I also have a talk that I'm doing in Detroit next week. So I've got a lot of things on my plate, plus just mommy duties, wifey duties, all the things. And I'm so grateful because my husband is just an amazing partner. We work together. We work so well together as a team that no matter what happens, whatever gets thrown into the mix, we handle it. We handle it as a team, we communicate, we love each other, and we figure it out. So all day today, my husband had errands to run plus work and all the things, but he switched things around in his schedule to make sure he can make sure my daughter is out and with her grandmother and figured all that out so I can be very present and relaxed when I teach this today. So I'm just, it is really the most rewarding experience of my life to have this relationship and the family that I do, because everything else can go to shit in my world. But if I've got those two human beings, and hopefully we'll add more, everything is right. Like we'll figure everything else out. And I'm just so excited because I've been able to, through this work, through what you learned, you will obviously get as much as we can in an hour, hour and a half. But through this work, I've been able to help other amazing, amazing women either who have gone through heartbreak, divorce, or just have had really tough luck in dating. Like they haven't had much dating experience. And if they have, it's like situationships where guys don't want commitment and they're ending up chasing. To take them from that kind of in the state of unworthiness, even if they were successful, confident, just accomplished a lot in their lives, to take them from that to really feeling so deserving of this kind of love and to be able to attract it in and call it in. And we'll talk about how we do that later on, but I'm just really, really excited that I get to share all of this with each of you. So this space is for women who have done the work. So you might have been in therapy, maybe some self-development work, journaling, trauma healing, and now you're like, okay, maybe I've tried dating, it's difficult, but you're not really seeing all of that work that you've done on yourself, all the healing work you've done on yourself, paying off in love because you're still struggling there. You are literally the ideal person that I get to work with in the program that I will invite you into, because it is one of my favorite spaces in this whole wide world. It is a space where you get to come in and really learn about how, not even just learning, you embody the version of yourself that gets to call this person in. Welcome, welcome. Okay, perfect. So you're probably a woman who's successful, you're probably self-aware, and you're probably really strong. So you don't necessarily need a man, but you deeply desire to build a forever partnership with one who adds value, joy, peace to your already full life. And there might even be parts of you that, you know, one thing, there was a version of me that was like, I don't need a man, I don't need a man. I would even tell Isaac that when we first met, because I was so afraid of needing a man because it felt unsafe. Essentially, even after I met him, it felt unsafe to really need him. And even if you don't need him, meaning financially you're set, you know, you feel good about yourself, you have a full life, you're not from that place of desperation is the kind of need I'm talking about. The insecurity or the self-doubt is the kind of need I'm talking about. But when you get into this relationship, it's so juicy and it's so beautiful, and you're ever evolving and growing that you end up meeting this person and it's okay to say it. So I'm excited for you to get to that point, but we've got time for that. So if you've ever been through heartbreak or divorce, you've likely built a beautiful life built on independence, right? But maybe it's come with a cost. Oftentimes when I see in my clients, it comes off as hyper independence because you also fear losing yourself if you open your heart again. This is common, especially if you've experienced heartbreak, divorce in the past, that there's a part of you that just fears, well, I just worked so hard for all of this. My mental health, my spiritual health, all the success I've gained in my life. And now by letting a man in, I might potentially lose it all. And this is a big, big fear that I walk a lot of my clients through, to how to move from that fear. And it's also below that fear is a distrust of yourself. You think it's because you don't really trust men, but that distrust of men is merely a distrust of yourself. So in our work together, we really focus on gaining and building that self-trust. So you can trust yourself around men and you don't lose yourself around them. We'll get into what that really looks like. How do you lose yourself in relationships or around men? But anyway, this masterclass is about really coming home to the version of you who can have the freedom, the love, the forever love, and the success. You get to have it all. I truly do believe in that. And I'm so, for you to show up live, even if you're at work, even if you're somewhere else, even if you're busy, even if it's super late, I'm going to say, I want you to celebrate yourself, because this really tells you about who you are and what you're ready to do for yourself, what you're ready to call in, that you're ready to actually prioritize this work for yourself, right? This kind of energy and commitment is required for you to call in that love that you want. I've been with my husband now for a little over 7 years. And I can tell you, even with being married for that long, it takes intention. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of intention. And so if this is a relationship you really want for yourself, one that lasts, one that is beautiful, one that is constantly growing and encouraging you to grow, that you will have to be committed to it in a way that you probably haven't. Well, you probably have committed in that way to your career, to your success. It takes the same amount of commitment and maybe sometimes even more, but in the most beautiful ways. It's not like hard work where you're striving, exhausting yourself, burning yourself out in order to make it work. It's not that kind of energy, because that kind of energy is actually you trying to force something that is not meant to fit into your life. And you might have done that in the past. You might have done that in previous relationships. But we're not doing that here. That's not what I'm talking about. I just mean it takes intention, it takes time, it takes presence. And cultivating presence is a big part of my work that I help a lot of women do. And we'll talk about that as well when it comes to masculine energy. And you being so successful in your career is a beautiful thing. But what it can also do is you bring that masculine energy and overdrive and doing the most into dating and relationships, which actually does the opposite, has the opposite impact of what you're wanting with a man. It actually repels them than bringing them closer together, closer to you. So I just want you to celebrate yourself for showing up live for this. This is important. Okay. I don't know where you're at in the world. I know some of you are at work. Some of you it's probably super late. Some of you might be in bed. It doesn't matter. I want you to just really, let's take a moment to shift out of your day, out of your week. I know I've had a crazy week myself, and I really want you to just come into presence in this room. So if you can stand up, stand up. I am standing up. If you can just sit tall, that works too. I just want you to take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. One more. And you can shake out your shoulders, wiggle your hips, drop your jaw, and just exhale again. Plaster a smile on that face. Let's bring some really awesome energy into this room. So just smile, just create joy, cultivate joy within your body right now. And just breathe. Allow yourself to be present in this moment. You are safe here. This, like I said, safety is a high priority for all of my containers. Roll your neck. Stretch your arms, whatever you need to do. Just wake up, get some energy back. All right, beautiful. Okay, here's a little bit about myself. Just in case you're new to my world or don't know a whole lot about me, or maybe you've been here for a long time and maybe you do know stuff about me, but I'm going to go through it anyway. I'm Shilpa, love and intimacy coach, mama, wife, and big-hearted believer, huge believer in forever love, lasting love, being possible for every single woman who desires it and is willing to go all in for it. I'm an all in kind of woman. I don't have a plan B. So when you come into my world and you're expecting love, you're not just hoping for it. You learn how to command your reality to shift into that it's happening. Years ago, I left an unhappy marriage, and quite honestly, an unhappy version of myself. And I had to figure out dating in my 30s because I was with my ex for 10 years. So I was a baby when I got into that relationship. I was 19, 20, I was 20 when I started dating him. So dating apps weren't around, and even if they were, that was not a thing that I was ever on. I just met men organically, and then we dated, and then obviously I was with my ex for 10 years, and we got married. So dating in my 30s was crazy. Figuring out dating apps, and I was sitting down to just write out how many guys I dated from the time I left my ex, moved out to LA, and attracted my husband, which from signing divorce papers to attracting my man, it only took me 9 months. I evolved very quickly. And that's how I teach actually my clients to do in their own lives as well, as long as they bring their drive and their ambition that they have at work and other areas of their life into this work as well. I will show you the way. But I dated it's kind of crazy. Either went on dates with, dated, had situationships with, or slept with at least close to 30 guys. And I was like, oh, this is insane to write this number down, because I was like, I did a lot. I was very busy in that time, in that 9 months, but it makes sense for why. Because every time my client brings me a dating story, a man story, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I've already navigated that. I know exactly what's happening here. But also I see that it's common patterns that happens in all of my clients' dating lives. It's actually very common. You think you're alone in what you're experiencing? Absolutely not. But also this is very much a gift of mine, especially in the program called Attract Your Soul Husband, where you close out karmic loops. What does that mean? We'll get into that too, but I'm always talking ahead of myself. So I planned this out, but now I really speak from the heart. So don't mind me. I will jump around a little bit, but we'll get through it, okay? So closing these karmic loops, what does that mean? Basically, these patterns that you find yourself with men that keep repeating, or maybe they're not even repeating, but they might be brand new. Usually when you're not doing this work, or my clients who haven't done this work with me, they've been in therapy and all the things, they might date and not even see the patterns, or they might see the patterns, but they don't know how to shift out of it, and they don't know how to close the loop so they don't have to keep repeating it. But when you're working with me, this is something, oh my God, you got to watch some of the reviews, but my clients will tell you that within weeks, they will have breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, because they will bring me a dating situation, and then all of their emotions, stuck emotions, fears, feelings, all the things around it, well, I help them dig into all of that. And then from there, okay, we're like, cool, this is what you've got to shift out. This is what you're ready to release. And this is a lesson you've got to learn. But also, this is how you apply that lesson into your dating life, into your lived experience, into being a human being, because it's not just about dating, it's how you are in all areas of your life. And you'll notice that when we start to work together, if you decide that that is your next step for you. But so you start to close those karmic loops, and as you close those loops, you don't have to keep repeating the lesson over and over again. So then God, whatever you believe in, I believe in God, universe, whatever, doesn't have to keep bringing you the same kind of man in a different body to learn the lesson, because you will keep looping through the same lessons unless you are willing to learn it, unless you're ready to shift out of it, and unless you know what the lesson is in the first place. And my gift, one of my expertise, and I'm so grateful for it, is that I see through the illusions that you hide behind. I see through the illusions that you hide behind, that you think it's this problem, or it's this thing, or it's he's the problem, or whatever the situation is. And we're like, no, this is the actual problem. This is actually what you're running from. This is what you've got to face. And this is how you move forward. And this is vital. This is actually what helps you to move through these lessons very quickly. And then you embody the energy and become the match for the man that you're trying to call in. So I did that very quickly, clearly. I met my man in 9 months. And we got married 10 months after that. We eloped. But dating was a whole new world for me compared to dating before. And I experienced a lot of different things. I had some great dates with guys who reminded me of my ex, because my ex is not a bad man. We just weren't a good match. Okay, so I had some great dates. Guys who reminded me of my ex, guys who were emotionally unavailable, guys who did not want commitment, just wanted sex, guys I wanted to fix and make grow up, and they had a lot of potential. I questioned my worth. I spun in loops. I was overwhelmed. I was literally at one point, I thought I was like insane over this one guy who kept treating me like shit. And we'll get into that story. But it's just interesting. I had a plethora of experience in that time. And I've been through it all. And I was doing the work throughout this whole time, meaning I was listening to all the podcasts, reading all the self-help books, relationship books. I was studying relationships. I was working with my therapist. I was cultivating a lot of self-awareness and ability to self-reflect. Just that was a big part of my after divorce, because I did not want to repeat the past. My divorce was pretty traumatic. If you ask a lot of women, it usually is, if you haven't been through one yourself. And I told myself, and it was very public. So I told myself, I never want to go through that again. And this is my perfectionism, but it served me very well in this situation where I dove head into learning everything I could about relationships and how to make them work. So I was doing all the work, and I remember I knew better. The part of my brain that logically knows better of like, who I should be choosing, what kind of guy I should be with, who respects me, who doesn't respect me, all the things. I knew it, but it was almost like my body couldn't control itself. And I lived in a lot of shame. And there were different parts of myself speaking. The part of myself that knew better, my inner child, wanting to close the loop from childhood, meaning to prove my worth. And if this man chose me, then I would be good enough. I would be lovable. So there's a lot of those things coming into play too, when your inner child literally hijacks your nervous system, literally will hijack your nervous system in order to get her need met, which as a child, it was love, attention, validation, because whatever happened with your parents. So my parents were in survival mode, right? They grew up, they're poor. They had 4 kids. And they also had an unhealthy marriage and relationship. So what I talked to you about earlier, where my husband now is helping me navigate everything in order to do a kick-ass job at this masterclass and to serve you, each of you very well, that my dad wasn't like that. My parents didn't work like that together. They didn't know what it meant to create a healthy relationship. So when one person is in survival, or both parties are in survival, and they don't have a healthy, stable foundation, it's a struggle to be able to give to your children, right? What you can barely give to yourself, or what anyone's giving to you as well. So when you don't close out those loops, your inner child comes screaming. And I found myself actually attracting a few of those guys where my inner child was literally screaming. And this is the story of the guy right before I met my husband. So I had no expectations. Literally, I'm at work. I was an occupational therapist, so I worked in the medical field as well. And here I am at work with scrubs on, no hair and makeup, like didn't care what I looked like. This guy walks in. He's working there for a short period of time in the same department that I am, and I didn't really think anything. I mean, he was handsome, but like also not my type. But I was like, okay, whatever. And by the end of his first day there, he was like, hey, I'm new to town. Can you take me out? Or like, can you show me around? And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. why not, right? It doesn't hurt. And we ended up having a great time. There was insane chemistry once we did hang out that day, like insane chemistry. And when you get really good at knowing and understanding your body, which is a big part of my work with my clients, because you have to be very deeply connected to your body in order to have the kind of relationship, the soul deep connection that I'm talking about. You will feel this energy out really, really quickly. You will know who this chemistry that means chaos, how it feels in your body before that man even opens his mouth. So now I can actually see someone and feel their energy and know right away that I can tell what kind of guy he is. So this guy that I was with or dating, we had started seeing each other, hooking up, hanging out, having fun. And of course, as a woman feels that intense chemistry, thinks it means something beyond that you're just having sex with them. And there's a lot of hormones that come into play. And not just that karmic loop is there that I needed to close out. And because my inner child is screaming. His energy is very familiar to my nervous system. And it's very, like, I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to be chosen by him. And I ended up finding out because he would be very present, want to hang out, have a good time. And then all of a sudden he'd drop off. And I'm like, this is really weird. Something's up here. What is going on? And I actually did ask him straight out. And he eventually came out and told me that he had a girlfriend. I was like, my God. Mind you, I work with this man. So there was no avoiding him. And on top of that, all of my coworkers did not like this guy. Like they thought he was rude. Whatever. They just had reasons for not liking him. And I'm like over here saying, oh, they just don't know him like I do. He doesn't show his sweet sides the way he does to me. He doesn't show this other side that, like all of this is just a cover. So I saw potential in him. And this is also the gift of the feminine, meaning you can see into the potential of a man, but it's a gift and it's a curse if you don't know how to also uphold your own standards and boundaries. And at that time, I didn't know how. And I let him walk all over me, use me, and I kept going back. Even though I knew better, but my body, my inner child was hijacking my body, my nervous system. So when he pulled away, I would literally spiral. Why isn't he choosing me? What am I doing wrong? Why am I not good enough? So it was like the deep-rooted fears, doubts, unworthiness that still comes up, even though you're a confident woman. I would definitely consider myself a confident woman back then. I put a lot of care into what I looked like. I took good care of myself, good care of my mental health. I was successful. So I was a pretty confident woman, but put me in this freaking situation and I was spiraling, questioning things about myself. So it's more deep-rooted. It's the inner child trying to take over. And when that happens, when you're not grounded in your body, when you don't know how to calm your nervous system, then it completely takes over and then runs the show. So I kept chasing him. Then I'd turn away and like, I'm done with you. But then he'd come say something sweet and kind. And then I'd go back and I would try to fix him. I would tell him who I knew he could be. And he needs to do better. And why does he do this? And why does he do that? Why is he still with her? Why is he not making better choices for himself? So who did I sound like? His mother. A man does not want to date his mother. So this is another common pattern that comes along that I see often with women. Often, especially successful women who are in their masculine most of the time, who is constantly in control, who maybe even helps other people for a job, for their career. You're constantly trying to fix other people because what you're also doing is being in avoidance of yourself, of your emotions, of your body. And it's easier to fix somebody else than actually work through your own stuff. So I would go on emotional roller coasters with this dude, and I so badly wanted to be chosen by him. My body was completely dysregulated. And I had not yet released the old patterns and the old pain that was still living in my body. Your body holds on to every single memory. So so the trigger is this guy. and the way he's pulling back and the way he's pulling away, that memory still, it triggers the memory in my body from earlier stages of my life. And I want to fix it. I want to make it feel better. But you think it's by having this man treat you a certain way or to choose you, but it's not. This actually comes from yourself. So I was consuming a lot of knowledge at that time, right? Like I said, I was doing a lot of work, cultivating self-awareness, but I didn't know how to integrate what I was learning and put it into practice. I didn't know how to embody it. I didn't know how to live it. And this is the key difference between my work and other people's work. We break through your illusions, but I teach you, you learn how to embody this love for yourself that you're trying to call in. And it's not surface level. Yes, I love myself. No, it's a whole different journey. So I was falling for a lot of these guys who were smooth talkers, would say one thing. And then I remember this story of, okay, I'm going to learn the lesson. I learned the lessons, guys. You cannot sleep with men too early. Okay, don't sleep with men too soon. So I got to wait a couple of dates. Ladies, don't ever do this. Don't ever do this where you tell a man they're going to wait a couple of dates. You're going to wait 4 dates, 5 dates to sleep with him. Do not tell a man that. I learned this lesson the hard way. So this is the first time I was doing this. And I was like, okay, this guy's handsome. He's successful. He's pursuing me. He's consistent. He was reaching out. But I was like, no, I'm doing things a different way. I'm not sleeping with a guy on the first date. Or the second date or the third date. And then what ended up happening was I told him, no, I have a new rule. I'm waiting and blah, blah, blah. So he ends up scheduling 4 dates within like 10 days. So he was really consistent, really pursuing me. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. 4th date comes around, chemistry's hot, we have sex, and he ghosts me. And I don't hear from him again. Guaranteed he probably had a girlfriend or something. But yeah, this is the kind of energy I was putting out. And I didn't know how, like I said, I didn't know how to actually take what I was learning and embody it because it's energetic. It's not up here. It's not this information that you're storing in your mind. It's not you overthinking. Should I say this? Should I wear this? Should I have this dating rule like what I was trying to do? No, it's not about that. It's how are you energetically living in your power, and can he feel that? Because a man will absolutely feel that. If a man recognizes that you do not respect yourself, if you are not embodying the standards that you are expecting a man to follow through on, then he will disrespect you, walk away, ghost you, not date you, not pursue you, just have sex with you. Because he can feel energetically, maybe if he doesn't know how to put words to it, he can feel energetically that you do not value yourself as much as you'd like to think that you do. And I have plenty of stories like this, plenty of stories. But these men, every single one of them, they were merely portals. They are merely portals for your own growth, for your own growth, for your own evolution. Like I talked about, these karmic loops, for you to not close out these loops. And where you learn how to love yourself first, where you learn how to embody those standards first that you're expecting a man to reach and fulfill. That when I talk about doing the work, it's not about doing the most in relationships. It's actually, you do a whole lot less, but it's the internal work. Because once you are doing, when you know how to work with when you know how to align your mind, body, and spirit, your heart, your energy that he feels, that men feel, completely different. You become a magnet for the kind of energy that you are embodying as well. So these men become portals. And once you can close out these loops, especially really quickly and not get stuck, what happens often is that women will get stuck thinking like, oh, here's more proof. I'm not meant for love. Here's more proof good men don't exist. Here's more proof men suck. Here's more proof that men don't know how to hold the kind of woman that I am. They don't know how to love me. That's not the truth, but a lot of women will get stuck there. And then delete dating apps, stop dating, or just settle for men that they're not really excited to be with, or situationships, right? Situationships where there's no commitment. It's just hooking up. He gets wifey, girlfriend treatment, but you don't get the actual relationship or commitment. And there's no movement. towards marriage. And I know you are a powerful, powerful woman. I guided many powerful women from actually where they think they're being powerful, but they're actually they're still fearful around men. And shifting that fear into your actual feminine power. Once you get to the root of what's happening, get to the root of what is it that you're running from? What is it, the illusion that you're hiding behind? And once we can clear that out, then you have action steps to move forward. How do you grow? And how do you show up bravely? Because love requires bravery. Love requires you to have an immense amount of faith. And this soul deep love that I talk about, it's for your soul's evolution, for your growth, for remembering who you are, how worthy you are, and that you don't have to earn love. You have the power to create, and that you live in the energy of who God made you to be. And as a woman, you hold so much power, literally so much power, because you being in your feminine power, being able to rise into that, meaning you're clear, your mind, your body, your heart are all connected, and you speak with clarity, you speak with truth, your desires, you're not fearful. And even if you are fearful, you speak up, you embody those standards. This man will rise. That's what awakens men to rise, to grow up, to treat you like the queen that you are. But if you're not quite doing that yet, then he won't. Then he will not. So these were all these relationships I had were all very pivotal moments leading up to me meeting my soul husband. And even before that, I actually had, hold on one second, there was a story that I wanted to share. I was on a solo trip and ended up meeting this guy actually in Australia. We had this wonderful experience, like crazy date story where I ran almost late to a ferry. He came in after me, sat right next to me, had his headphones on, and I'm like, oh my God, he's so cute. I want to talk to him. Because what, like, who cares? I'm leaving. What, I don't care if I'm gonna be rejected, it doesn't matter. I start a conversation with him. And I turned on my charm, my flirtation, and he ended up asking me out. This was my last day before I was leaving Australia. He ended up asking me out and took me on this romantic date. Just so thoughtful. We ended up watching a movie at the Sydney Harbor on this huge screen that comes out of the water. It was awesome. And he was hot. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. And we actually ended up staying in touch. We ended up staying in touch for a couple months. And I actually planned out another solo trip where he ended up moving to Europe, and I ended up meeting him there. And this time the experience was so different. We had a good time initially, but then I started to see things that I wasn't able to see before. So oftentimes what also happens is women can get hooked on a fantasy, right? What they want to see. They really want this guy to work out. And maybe you feel the chemistry and you think he's hot and you pedestal him. And when you pedestal that man, then you struggle to see the red flags and you struggle to see what's actually there. And you don't take your time to really get to know someone, to have him prove himself to you. But there were little subtle things that were happening that really caused my radar to go off. Some things were like him not approving of his girlfriend wanting to, meaning his ex-girlfriend. He was talking about his ex-girlfriend, what happened in the past relationship. He didn't love that she went out by herself or with friends. And then another situation where he was like, don't wear makeup. Why are you wearing makeup? And I was like, why does he freaking care what I want to wear? And then he was like, don't wear those leggings because people in Germany don't wear leggings out like in America. And I'm like, I don't give a shit what people in Germany are wearing. I want to wear this. Like, I don't care. I want to be comfortable. So it was the energy was very interesting to watch and observe. And then there was another instance of something happened between us, and I was like, hey, is everything okay? He shut down emotionally. He literally stopped talking. And mind you, we had like another day or two together. And we're in a hotel room, and I'm in a foreign country. He lives here. And he stopped talking to me. And it was awkward. It's like that awkward tension between family members when you know you just had a fight and you haven't forgiven each other, but you're just kind of brushing it under the rug. But I'm like, I've gotten to that point in my healing journey that I didn't want to brush it under the rug. And so I tried. It's like, hey, do you want to talk about this? Like, what's going on? Once again, shut down, did not want to talk about it. It's like, whew, okay. And then I went on to my next journey on my solo trip. And the moment I got to my next destination, it was insane how I just felt this weight off my body. And I didn't get lost in the fantasy, but I listened to my body in that moment, which was a clear indicator he was all kinds of wrong for me, all kinds of wrong. And then from there, I met my dream man. A couple of months after that, actually, on that trip, I remember this is when I used to drink. I don't drink anymore, but I got drunk and tripped and fell over something, cut my foot. And this is, I think, like Priyanka Chopra just had like gotten engaged. And I was like, oh my God, I want my own Nick Jonas. And I think it was like 2 or 3 months after Isaac walked into my life. And if you don't know, Nick Jonas is like 10 years younger than Priyanka. That is not what I was asking for. That's not what I expected. I actually dated a couple of younger guys when I was single, but I never thought I would marry one. And here walks in this guy who's 8 years younger than me. And I was like, oh my God, after 2 weeks together, we had really created a strong foundation for a friendship. And I was very different in that relationship because of closing all these karmic loops beforehand, that everything that I allowed other men to get away with, and it didn't come from a place of demanding. I want you to know that. It was energetic. It was a shift. It was me being grounded in my body. I was actually very calm when I was communicating with Isaac about what I wanted and needed. And I was allowing myself to open myself to him, to soften around him. And when I say soften, it's not necessarily just your tone, because the feminine can be very sharp. We can be sharp with our truth. We're not tiptoeing around men, worrying if he'll leave. That was the first time in my life that I didn't worry if a man would leave, because I was so grounded in my power. I was embodied in my power. He used to be a womanizer. He did not treat women very well. So all the kind of like the emotionally unavailable F-boys that I was attracted to, he was definitely used to be one of them. But when he came, like this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about when I say you as a woman have so much power, you awaken the man in the boy. So he came to me as a boy, and he was actually, something had already flipped in him, that he was on his journey to grow up, to evolve. And he came to me wanting to, like, there was some aspects of him that still hadn't grown out of his bad boy behavior. And I literally called it out, but with so much love and power. And I was like, I don't care. You're young. I was like, you're 23, go do your thing. But what I'm looking for is commitment, is a family. And I didn't realize that until now. And I don't care. Really, when I had these conversations with him, I didn't care. I actually only had one conversation with him, and this is our dating anniversary. So we had this conversation 7 years ago, something like that, today itself. So, hey, we're celebrating, where I was literally like, I want you to go have fun. Go enjoy your life. You're young. You shouldn't get into a relationship this young, but I genuinely care about you. I didn't think I'd fall for you like this. And the way that I was so grounded in my power, I wasn't reactive. I wasn't being immature like I had been in the past. I wasn't trying to convince him. I wasn't trying to prove myself. I wasn't trying to earn his love. I wasn't trying to get him to pick me. It was very different. And when he felt my energy, and it was through the phone, so we were doing long distance, we were talking long distance, he didn't even need a moment to think. He's like, absolutely, yes. This 23-year-old decided to get married 10 months later. So we got married 10 months later. He became a dad at 27. He still loves marriage. He loves being a dad. Like he literally grew into a man, and I'm so proud to see the man that he is. But you as a woman have immense power, immense power. So we're going to get into the high achievers paradox, why high achievers can get stuck in love, feminine energy that inspires pursuit, and rewiring your love patterns instead of running from them. And then we'll get into soul husband framework. And of course, I will have an invitation for you at the end. Are you ready? Are you ready? Drop a yes. Oh, thank you so much, Candace. I know we already went through so much information. Okay, so the high achievers paradox. Okay, this is when you bring, especially if you've been through a heartbreak or divorce, and you bring that masculine overdrive, that energy that leads, performs, that achieves, that's constantly doing, that's planning, that you've used in your successful career. When you don't know when to turn that off or how to turn it off, you end up bringing that into relationships, into dating. So this is what I was talking about when I talked about the guy who I used to work with, right? I wanted to fix him. I wanted to fix him. I wanted him to be better. I wanted to do the most, right? In order for him to pick me, choose me, love me, want to marry me, even though I knew deep down inside, I did not want to marry that man. That man would not fit into my family. I knew that for a fact, but I wanted a project. I wanted to take everything I was doing here, because when you're in the masculine, you're in your brain, right? Like you're in your head. You're actually oftentimes, especially when you're in masculine overdrive, you disconnect from your body. So you can feel very comfortable in being in the masculine, where you're thinking your way through problems, where you're maybe anxious or overwhelmed because the thoughts keep looping in your mind. What should I say? What should I do? This is not right. That's not right. Is this a red flag? Is that not a whatever, right? Whatever you're running through. And then you start to get anxious and overwhelmed. That will not serve you well in relationships, because also what ends up happening is when you're anxious and overwhelmed, you project that energy out to a man. You project that energy out to a man. So comes as either, let's say you get anxious and you're like texting too much, or you're reaching out when you really shouldn't, or you're chasing after him, or you're trying to fix him, or you're trying to get him to do something and treat you a certain way, whatever it is, right? You're still in that masculine energy. You're not inspiring pursuit. But when you're in your feminine, you're connected to your body. You're connected to your truth. So you do your own work, like I talked about, closing out those karmic loops. Stop allowing your inner child to hijack your nervous system. Come back into peace, an internal state of peace. This internal state of peace has nothing to do with what's happening around you, or how he's treating you, or how a man's treating you. You cultivate this internally, and this is something that you learn how to do in my work, in my spaces. And once you're able to do that, and you're connected to your body energetically, you have come back into a place of presence. So the past isn't trying to come into play. You're not anxious about what could happen, what couldn't happen, what if he chooses you, if he doesn't choose you. You're very present. Your energy, your heart, your body, your mind are all aligned. And a man can feel that power. You're open to receiving. You don't have to control anymore. You let go of that need to control him. You're open to receiving, and you magnetize the energy you're embodying. You magnetize more of what you want, because you're now embodying what you want. As long as you're embodying what you want, and you surrender control, and you allow yourself just to trust that everything that's meant for you will come to you. That energy is so different. So for example, and I play with this all the time. I have all these tools I've created, and all these tools I've collected over the past nearly decade. And one thing, and this works, it's so cool how it works so quickly. I was at the park with my husband and my daughter, and we had just had like some it was not an argument, but just kind of like an uncomfortable situation, and I wanted him to come closer to me, and I wanted him to give me a hug. So I did one of my own practices while we're at the park to internally shift my energy, and he literally, without me having to open my mouth or say anything, he walked over, held my hand, and gave me a kiss. And this is just like the magic of this work. It's so beautiful. It feels like magic, but it's all backed by science, which is amazing. So this is it. There's a difference between the masculine energy overdrive, which will repel a man. A man does not want to compete with another man, right? He does not want to be controlled. He wants you to trust him, to take care of you. And when you're in your feminine, when you're connected to your body and your heart, you're able to receive, magnetize, surrender, and he comes closer to you. So perfectionism loop. And this is a big one for women who are high achieving. Oftentimes, why you're high achieving typically is because You've used achievement as a form of validation, right? To receive validation, to prove yourself. So you can translate that into dating, right? Let's say someone gets upset, or a guy gets upset or pulls back, your mind automatically thinks to, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? Was I too much? Was I not enough? And I shouldn't have talked about that. Now he's pulled back, and now you're trying to manage it. Now you're trying to fix it. How can I get this right? And what can also happen is you project this perfectionism onto your man. So you go on a date. Now you start looking for and scanning for flaws. Oh, I don't like that he's wearing that. Why did he just say that? Oh, there's food in his teeth. Or that's like the first phase of it, meaning if you're just early phases of dating. What can happen later on in your relationship? Now you start noticing just the humanness in him, the human of him, right? His behaviors. None of us are perfect. Men will have flaws, you have flaws, right? But now you're noticing these flaws and you're like, oh, how unattractive. Oh, why is he doing that? Do it this way, do it that way. And you're trying to manage everything, right? You're not allowing yourself to receive. You're trying to stay in control. But like what I said, it's your own perfectionism that how you speak to yourself is how you're speaking to your man, and that will shut him down. That will pull him away, and he will not want to be around you. This is the truth of it. I've seen this happen in marriages, and then it creates rifts. It creates huge, massive rifts. I've seen this people do this in early stages of dating, and this is when oftentimes men will ghost you when they could feel this kind of energy. Also, you having low expectations for men, like expecting them to fail you. So let's say you go on a date and it's time to pay the bill comes, and you don't want to be a woman who pays for the bill or goes 50-50. But guess what you do? You pull out your card, testing him to see if he'll say, no, absolutely not, or will he take it? And when you're in that state, he can feel what you're doing. And then let's say he fails a test, and then you're like, oh, gosh, how gross, right? That's literally you protecting yourself from this fear that a man cannot hold you, take care of you. But it's fear. You're fearing that because you just never experienced it before, and you're doubting it, and you're trying to protect yourself from rejection. You're trying to build a wall around yourself so you don't have to open your heart. So then you go into also critiquing men, which men can very much shut down if it's coming from a mothering energy or you're not good enough energy. That's not how you inspire a man. But when you're in your feminine power, you know how to speak life into a man while also speaking, these are my standards and desires, with clarity and with such like love for yourself that he will absolutely rise to meet you there. But it cannot come from a guarded body. So your body can't be stiff. You can't be closed off. Your heart can't be closed off. Your jaw can't be tight. Your abs can't be clenched. Like, you have to be able to create softness in your body in order to draw a man closer to you. You can't be in survival state. You can't be in fight or flight. So oftentimes, a lot of sabotage patterns women will get into is nitpicking and judging men too soon. Once again, if you fear commitment, if you fear opening your heart, you will oftentimes do this to men because you fear rejection. You fear heartbreak. You fear something else not working out. You hide behind a busy schedule, saying, I don't need a man, life is good, I want a man, but you go to bed feeling pretty lonely, or you go to those family events hoping and wishing that, man, I wish I had someone here with me, not just someone, a man who I really valued and values, and you value too, and he values you, where you have a deep, solid connection, where you have inside jokes you could cut across the room, like make eye contact, and he knows exactly what you're thinking, you know exactly what you're thinking, that you're no longer the fifth wheel, that you want to build a life with your dream partner, your dream man. So you can't hide behind these busy schedules, because love, and once you're in that partnership, it takes intention, it takes time, it takes practice. So you're going to have to always make it a priority, always. And I see this often, is treating every date like an interview, like going onto a date with a checklist in mind, and thinking that wondering, is he going to be my forever guy or not? Is he going to be my husband? Is he going to be my future husband? That's where your mind is at, instead of being in your body, confident, enjoying yourself, having fun on the day. When you're in your head, you're lost in thought. You can't actually connect with somebody. You can't actually connect with a man when you're up here overthinking everything or having conversations with yourself. When you're supposed to be having a conversation with someone else, you have to be present in your body to be able to truly connect with a man. So you cannot date. You can't go onto dates treating them like interviews. A man will feel that. And also feel like desperation because you're just looking for this checklist. You're not a woman who likes to have fun. You're so stiff, right? You take things too seriously. It's just the first date. It's just the first, second date, third date, whatever it is. But being present will shift what you get to experience and how you get to build with a man. And when you're in your feminine, just energetically, it's just how energetics work, then he rises to be in his masculine. So then you stop attracting men who are passive, who expect you to do everything, who expects you to lead and plan the date, take action. Passive men are so unattractive. You're a woman who does a lot in all areas of her life. You probably care for a lot of people. But if you don't want to marry a man-child, especially if you want children or have children, you don't want another child to take care of, you have to be embodied in your feminine, because then that makes him rise into his masculine. If you guys have quick questions, feel free to drop them. I might answer now or might answer later, depends, but feel free to drop anything. How is it landing though? Is it landing? How are you feeling? What are you getting out of it? Anything coming up for you? I would love to I feel like I've been talking a lot. Are you getting what I'm dropping here? Is it making sense? Just drop a yes in the chat if it is. Awesome. So in my world, we work with body-based tools. Like I said, the body is an important, vital part of this work. This is why you can go to therapy for years, but not really make the shifts in your life that's necessary, especially when it comes to love and dating. You cannot function in a relationship without being connected to your body. Okay, so I have various different tools that we work with in order to help you rewire your nervous system, rewire your brain, your subconscious beliefs, and of course, your connection to yourself and to your body and what you feel safe with. Because another thing that we work on is stretching your capacity to feel the discomfort of all the emotions and all the fears and all the self-doubt and all the worthiness issues that come up when you're dating someone, when you're dating in general, because all of that comes up when you're dating. Okay, so we're going to get into this really quick. We're going to do a quick tapping practice. It's a powerful mind-body tool, so connecting the mind and body that helps calm your nervous system and rewire old emotional patterns through gentle tapping on acupressure points. And it signals to your body that I'm safe now, even around things that used to be triggering or uncertain. And when we tap, we're not forcing the change, we're allowing safety and trust to take root in the body. So the heart can finally open again. You can be present, you can trust yourself. And this is how you start to shift your energetic state. And this is important. I talk about energy a lot. This is how you start to shift your energetic state. So I'm going to show you the points. We're going to start at the top of your head. Usually tap around 5 times at each point. So center of the crown, gently tapping with your fingertips, and then it will move to the eyebrow, beginning of the eyebrow near the bridge of your nose, okay? Then the side of the eye, the bone bordering the outer eye corner, under your eye, on the bone directly beneath the eye, under your nose, under your chin, and under your collarbone, okay? And then about 4 inches below your armpit. So you're gonna watch me do this. You can see me, guys, right? Like you can see my whole upper body. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get started. So you can repeat after me as you're tapping at each section. And if you're at work, I mean, feel free if you can do it there. If not, I'd highly recommend you going back into the recording and to be able to. Okay. So you start at the crown. Even though I've been hurt before, I'm safe to open again. Even though I've had to protect myself I'm ready to be seen, cherished, and chosen. I trust myself to recognize real love when it's in front of me. I trust good men exist and that they can meet me in safety, devotion, and truth. I can be loved deeply and keep my freedom, identity, and my peace. I release fear, control, and timelines. I can have this love faster than I once believed. I am worthy of being chosen simply because I exist. I'm safe to receive love now. I'm ready for my soul husband. I want you to take a slow inhale and exhale out through a straw. I would love to hear how you felt if you're able to walk yourself through that. This is a great practice to do for yourself to just really be able to come back into the presence, to stretch your belief, to start rewiring your subconscious. This is some fun things we get to do. Calming, yeah, definitely. All right. The soul husband framework. Calming and fresh, good, yay. Okay, so like I said, we do mindset work because we have to rewire your subconscious beliefs that are deeply rooted and often hidden. Like I said, my expertise, one of my gifts, the greatest gifts I have is to be able to cut through your illusions and to see what is really controlling your actions and behaviors in dating and love. We work with the body. Somatic work is a big thing. Like I said, we have to work with the body as well. And then of course, dating strategy, but it's this dating strategy, especially in Attract Your Soul Husband, is very specific to you. I don't like to give just like strategy across the board because you're a very unique person, right? Where what works for you and you have your own energetic frequency, what works for you might not work for somebody else. And we heal the root of your performance if you're still seeking validation, kind of the things that we talked about, the high achieving paradox, and then also being able to stay open, honoring yourself as you stay open to love, to a man seeing you, to letting him in, to opening your heart, to being vulnerable while being strong. And then you get to date from magnetism, from this belief and deep knowing that love is absolutely meant for you and you will have it, rather than fear, rather than self-doubt, rather than insecurities. And I often talk about Spicy Queen because literally who we talk about, or you talk about this archetype of queen. I added spicy in there because first of all, I'm very spicy, but meaning we speak our truth always. We don't tiptoe around the truth, and our truth can sometimes be sharp. It's not always soft, and we have a lot of fire, and that makes us so beautiful. Still, it's not so all the things that we thought were too much, or were told that it was too much. We get to really integrate that into what makes us really unique and special and helps you to call in that man. So in Attract Your Soul Husband, it's a full body recalibration to becoming that spicy queen who attracts love. And I actually also have my program, Spicy Queen Academy, which is 2 months. And we work on more, this is the prep program, meaning you're not ready to call in your love yet. You're not ready to do that work yet. Maybe you're healing from a heartbreak, you got out of a relationship, you're just wanting to do the prep work of closing out those karmic loops, or at least understanding them, uncovering them, and then being able to connect back with your feminine, your body. That's that prep work. What Attract Your Soul Husband is for the woman who wants to call in that forever love, who wants to have the husband, the family, right? You want to set the example, especially if you already have kids, for your children to experience what healthy love is like, because it makes such a big difference. I have a 3-year-old and I see her, what she's absorbing, what she's watching, how it's making sense in her mind, what love feels like in her body, in her nervous system, and how you allow someone to love you, not because you're perfect. That is the furthest thing from the truth. None of us are. But allow someone to love you, to see you even when you're at your messiest. Loved for all of you. Your traumas, your fears, your doubts, your wins, your successes. To have someone support you, encourage you, to make you even better, even more successful. All without you having to chase, beg, or fix a man. Or without having to lose yourself as well. Okay, I'm going to answer this question, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, what if they don't want to lead? I mean, when they ask what you want to do or where you want to go for a date instead of them telling you or leading, how to understand if they don't want to lead versus valuing our input. That's a good question. So this depends on the exact, you would have to tune into your desire, right? Meaning in that moment, what is it that you're desiring? Do you want to have a say? Right? Because there are some moments or moods I'm in where I know exactly what I want. I don't want him to make a decision. I want to make the decision. I want to pick out what we're eating tonight because I have this insane craving. I state that, right? But if there's a part of me that really wants to just take a back seat, I don't want to think, meaning I've had a really long day. I don't want to make any decisions. I actually remember this moment when Isaac and I were traveling together. We were first dating. We were in Vietnam. Oh my God, I do not do well in the heat. And we were walking all day. It was so hot. It was so humid. And I was exhausted. I was burnt out. I was like, I do not want to make another damn decision. And now we got to figure out where to eat. And I think initially he was like, okay, we're like figuring out where we're going to go, whatever. He looked over at me. He just saw how exhausted I was, energetically, like he could tell. I did not want to make a decision. And he's like, cool, got it. I'm going to make the decision. And sometimes you will have to state like, hey, I just want to turn my brain off. I just want to turn my brain off and I want to have a good time. And I trust you. I want to have you make the decision. Where a lot of women can go wrong is if a man makes a decision and then you tell him it's the wrong decision. So you're expecting him to fail, right? So you really actually have to be genuinely open to whatever you might receive out of that interaction. Doesn't mean you can't offer feedback, but doing it in the more feminine way rather than the masculine way, or rather than from a place of wounding, fear, doubt. Oh, see, you don't get me. Like that's completely different energy. So that would be the difference here. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to share with you and invite you into your next steps. If you're like, oh my God, I love this. I want to do this for myself. I feel my soul's calling. My heart is calling to it. I want my forever love. We could talk about some of the other options too, if you're not quite there yet. But if this is something you're wanting, are you ready for me to invite you in? Feel free to drop a yes in the chat. Oh my God. Okay, I gotta get my charger. This is crazy. My laptop has been dying so much faster than usual. I will be right back. Let me pause for a quick second. All right, my lovelies, let's get into it. This is literally one of my favorite programs on this planet. I've helped women. I've helped women go from separated to in a relationship with their amazing man within months, that are attracted to him. I think it was like within 4 months of us working together. Then they nurtured their relationship and actually became official. And I've helped other women who have been single for 10 years, 14 years, get into incredible relationships with men within months to be able to become mothers, get married, have the family that they've always wanted. I've helped so many women through this Attract Your Soul Husband framework, through this work, in order to have the relationship, not just have the relationship, have the version of yourself that is so powerful, that you love even more, that calls in this man, and you create more love together. It is the most beautiful work on this planet. And every time it blows my mind. It still blows my mind whenever I hear my clients. Like I have so many clients right now getting engaged, having babies, getting married. This work is powerful. Like I said, and I help you do it quickly because that's how I work in my own life. I evolve very quickly in my own life. I help you do the same when it comes to love. So what I could have done is just make it a passive program, made it super cheap for you to have all this information. But I mean, even as I'm teaching you this, like I'm exhausted listening to myself talking, and I'm giving you a lot of information, right? And when you're just consuming the information in that way, I could have made this program really cheap and had it as a walk yourself through all of this information. I don't think I'd have much fun doing that. Actually, I do love to teach, but actually really, really love to teach, but you don't get the kind of transformation without the mentorship, without the live in-person mentorship, where we're applying the soul husband framework, right? So you get direct support as you're walking through the work, because you will have modules And you need to, if you are a driven woman, you're an ambitious woman in your career, in other areas of your life, as long as you are able to bring that in here, you will freaking thrive. You will kill it. You will literally kill it, because that's exactly what all my clients who found love, who attracted love, who are in healthy relationships, who are becoming mothers, have done for themselves. Because they come in, they do the work, they do the modules, and then they come into our live calls and get coaching. You get direct support from me. And I've helped dozens of women do this exact work. To collapse timelines to meet their soul husbands within months. To go from emotional confusion, levels of unworthiness, to planning their weddings, to getting married, to having babies. And these calls are where the breakthroughs land in real time. We get to go deep on these calls. We bring your body into it too. Your patterns get rewired and your confidence becomes embodied. And then you know exactly what you need to do moving forward. So as you're dating, all these things are going to come up. All these fears, doubts, insecurities. You also bring other aspects of your life. It's not just men and dating, because there are other things that are happening in your life that's also trying to close the karmic loop. So you bring that in and you learn these lessons really quickly, and then you know exactly how to step back into your power and create the reality you're wanting. So you're not doing this alone. You get live weekly coaching with real-time customized support and feedback, breakthroughs to support you in your blind spots, to see them. Like I said, I see through your illusions that you're hiding behind. So when you're dating, spiraling, second guessing yourself, you're not alone in your head. You're held and guided through it. You can't bypass it any further. You have to go through it in order to learn from it, grow, and evolve, and then become the match for the man that you're wanting to truly attract. So if all this did was help you to stay consistent and process and help you unravel your emotional blocks and keep you on track in all relationships, would it be worth it? What I've seen again and again in my own life and my one-to-one clients and my group clients is that real transformation doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in the moments that you want to shut down, the moments that you get ghosted and spiral, the moments you're not sure if you're being too much or not enough. That's why I also created support outside of our live calls. So you also have support outside of our calls on a weekly basis, twice a week. So you get support in Telegram, not just to help you date, but to help you to navigate entire relational fields. I've had clients who have gone on dates. Maybe they had a great date, but then they're like fantasizing, floating off to what this could be and getting lost in all these other things, and they need to come back into presence. Or they had a horrible date and they're spiraling. Did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? We work through it. Whatever it is that she needs to adjust, fix. And it's not about herself. Usually about herself is she needs to feel her way through what is coming up within her. The inner child stuff that we talked about. Your nervous system being hijacked. Coming back into presence. Doing extra, and I create practices and exercises specifically for you to work through something. And these practices are very, very powerful and healing for you to come back into your power so you can become the version of yourself who attracts the love that you're wanting. So not only the live calls, you get exclusive Telegram community, and this will always be a private, an intimate space. An intimate space. There's a max of 10 women that can be in this program. I have 9 spots left for this program. And this is what, when you're spiraling, confused, you've got questions. Do I say this? Do I not say this? Did I do something wrong here? You get to move through it quickly and with support. So you're not getting lost in it. You're not doubting yourself. You're not going into this victim mindset where you almost want to give up on dating. You move through it quickly so you can get on the other side of it. So if all this did was save you years of overthinking, exhausting yourself, trying to decode a man's actions and your feelings, would it be worth it? And then you have Spicy Queen Academy, which is, like I told you, one of my signature programs. This is all the work that we talked about, coming back into your feminine, coming back into your body, putting yourself out there again. This is all the work you do before you put yourself out there. All the old wounds that come up, the fear of being too old, not enough, not healed enough. To clear all that stuff out, the fears of distrust of men, the moments you wonder if men will still desire you, right? This is the work you do in Spicy Queen Academy to really come into your confident, worthy self. So you will get full access to this program while you're in Attract Your Soul Husband as well. This is how you come into that embodiment, that feminine embodiment that I'm talking about. So if all that did was help you to become the most confident version of yourself with high self-worth and an open heart, where you trust yourself and men, would it be worth it? And then I help you with actual things like strategic dating strategies, like Spicy Profile Makeover, how to actually amplify and like create profiles, so probably a couple of them, to be able to optimize them. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Optimize them in order to attract in the right kinds of men who want commitment, who you would be attracted to and want to pursue, or have them pursue you, and weed out the wrong guys who don't want commitment, who just want a hookup, who just want to kill and waste time, right? So this is the strategy piece. You will get access to Spicy Profile Makeover, literally how to create that profile. Because so many women hide behind vague bios, filtered group photos, or just weird humor and like, don't do this and be emotionally available and I want you to be mature. You can't put that stuff on your profile. There's another way to do it where you actually attract in the kind of man you're looking for, the emotionally available, mature man that you're looking for, without actually saying that on your profile. Okay, the commitment ready men. So this would save you a bunch of time that you don't have to go on a bunch of crappy dates or talk to a bunch of men who do not want the same things as you. It's a literally complete overhaul of your dating profile and messaging strategy. And then you obviously have me to help you to make it even better, right? You have that mentorship to make it even better. What else? Okay, you get so much stuff. Okay, and then the Spicy Queen Somatic Vault. So why I created that was all these body practices were very much necessary for you to come back into a regulated state, for you to come back into your power, to not be in that wounded state, or to be in your masculine overdrive, how to shift into the feminine, right? So maybe you're going on a date, maybe you're about to go on a date and you need to be able to shift into that feminine, fun, present energy. I've got a practice in there for you, right? Maybe you disappointed a man. Now all that fear is coming out, or you're being overwhelmed with all this doubt. Did I do something wrong? I say something wrong? Okay, cool. I created a practice for you. It's in there. And I continue to add to those, especially as you're in my program and you're facing some tough things. I create specific things just for you to have. And not only that, one thing I really want to say, I don't know if you've been through a divorce before. I know, I'm not sure if, I don't know actually the background of all of you guys, but I have. And actually many of my clients have. So I know how costly divorces are. I know how expensive divorces are, not just financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all the things, all the things. I literally had built a house with my ex and I barely got anything. Okay. And I spent money on the divorce. I spent money moving. I spent a ton of money. A lot of my clients, some of them are actually like, because of the divorce lawyers, the paperwork, the move, the house, you spend so much damn money. It is crazy. And my work here, one of my biggest missions is to demolish divorce rates. I help you to become the version of yourself who knows how to nurture love. It's not just about getting the man. It's about nurturing the relationship, but also attracting a man and inspiring him to want to nurture that relationship too, to create a deeper soul deep connection together that lasts a lifetime. Because I do not want you to have to go through a divorce ever again. Or if you haven't been through one, I never want you to go through one. This work protects you from that. It protects you from the most expensive mistake you can ever make. And I don't really see my divorce as a mistake, because it has helped me to be the woman that I am today and obviously do this work. But I'm just saying, for other people, if I can help you out to not have to go through that, I will absolutely help you out. Because now we can do all the work that I went through after divorce here within 6 months together, to come into a state of power, to love yourself deeply, to live in worthiness, and to have the relationship you want and dream of without having to go through heartbreak and massive trauma in order to experience it. I help you do that. Okay, beautiful. So we talked about the somatic vault. What else? Okay, so if you do end up paying in full, so like I said, this work helps you to avoid a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, but also calls in the dream man, your dream man. So this program, I initially had it 3 months. I actually extended out to 6 months because I knew that women do need more time in this container to have the kind of evolution and journey to love that is required to have lasting love. The first 3 months end up being the work you're really internally working, closing up those karmic loops. The last 3 months is when you're opening up to this man. So if you decide, so it is $20,000 for the investment. And one of the reasons why I also priced it that way, because I've had lower price points. I have. And I've realized some people did not come with the level of presence and devotion and commitment that is required, that I require. I have very high standards for myself and my containers, and my energy is expensive. When you come and invest into my container, into any of my containers, I am equally or more so invested in you and your journey towards love. I create things specifically for you. You are on my mind outside of our calls and outside of our telegrams. I support you in a way that most people will not. We are doing this journey hand in hand. Hand in hand. This investment, it literally should be so much more, and one day it probably will be. Like I said, I evolve very quickly. I invest in myself in the last 2 years over $100,000 to be the kind of coach, mentor, and woman that I am. I invest heavily in myself so I can serve my women and my clients to the best of my ability. All of this so you don't have to chase, you don't have to fix yourself. It's not about fixing yourself. It's coming back into presence, coming back to who God made you to be. So you get to have the love that you want. This portal is open. Are you coming? And if you pay in full, not only do you get a one-to-one call with me, but that's within 48 hours, but what you also get is you get to join my retreat that I'm hosting next year at in Sicily, and a private room in that retreat is $6,000. So private room, accommodations, a beautiful luxury retreat house, a villa, all food, all activities, all the workshops that I'll be leading there. That's normally $6,000. You get to join and add that on for $3,500. And if you're coming to that retreat, also as a bonus, you get, I don't know if anyone knows this about me, but I have done hair and makeup for 18 years, something like that. I've been in the wedding industry for a very long time. So you will actually get your makeup done for your photo shoot, because we will have personal photo shoots for every single woman who comes on the retreat. You will get makeup done by me while we are there. And you'll also get that bonus call within 48 hours. Also, I'm creating a payment plan, because obviously not everyone could be like, oh, $20,000 I'm in, right? But I will have payment plans for you to come in and pay over 8 months. So it works out to $2,600 per month for 8 months. So this is for the woman who's really ready to call in love, to make 2026 the year that the man of her dreams, that her soul husband, walks into her life. Like I said, I had 2 choices: to make this a really cheap program, to go on your own and do the work. But as you can see, everything is nuanced. There are so many things that I want to be able to get my hands into your situations and help you shift out of it really quickly and push you towards that love. But you have to be driven and ambitious, and the kind of woman who's willing to, no, not willing, she knows in her heart, it is time. It is time. I'm done with being single. I'm done with living my life alone. I'm done carrying everything by myself. I want to share my life with someone else. I want to lay in bed with him at night and talk about our biggest dreams and actually create those dreams together. I want to be the example of love and healthy love for not just myself, not just my kids, not just my future kids, but everyone around me. And now, yeah, I made it a higher investment because this is my close proximity program. This is the closest you can get to me. My one-to-one spaces are very, very limited and much higher price point. So if that is something that calls to you, you can absolutely message me on Instagram or Candace. Actually, we can drop the link to Attract Your Soul Husband. So if you go to the sales page of Attract Your Soul Husband, you can actually click on any of the buttons that say, I'm ready, I'm in, and it takes you to an application. We have to be a good fit together to work together, right? Because this is an intimate relationship between you and I. My clients and I become very, very close. So we have to work well together. So I really want to be able to make sure you're the right match for this program, the right fit. So if Candace, oh yeah, perfect. Okay, perfect. The links are on there. And I want you to apply as well. And we also have the payment links as well. And you have 48 hours for those bonuses, which are amazing for you to be able to join the retreat, which is usually $6,000 to join in for 3,500. Even that, you know what, I'm going to give to you even if you're not paid in full. If you're not paying in full, I still want to give you that retreat option to join in because it's such a beautiful way to be able to finish out our 6 months together, because the retreat is in May of next year. So as we're finishing the program, we start in the beginning of November. We will literally hit the point of the retreat and we finish off in this beautiful, beautiful way. Shay's post-divorce. Okay, yes, so you feel it. What else? Okay, and if that calls your heart, okay, amazing. And if not, you're like, okay, that's out of my price range, but I want to do this work. We also have Spicy Queen Academy. I highly recommend you get into there. It's a 2-month program, but that is the prep work before the dating. So coming back to your body, processing old wounds and patterns and clearing those out before you get out into the dating world. But I'm going to leave a little bit of time. We have maybe like about 5-10 minutes. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to drop them, or whether it's about the program, whether it's about anything I talked about today, I am here for it. I have about 10 minutes because I got to get on a podcast recording in a little bit too. So if you guys have any questions, I would love to hear from you. Use your voice, type in the chat. I don't care. I'm here for it. Oh, did I tell you the price of Spicy Queen Academy? We could drop that in here too, Candace, please. Spicy Queen Academy is on pre-sale. We start that later next month as well. Like I said, it's a 2-month program. It's $2,500 for the 2-month program. That's at pre-sale. It is going up to $3,000 probably in 2 weeks or so. But we start that next month. So if you're wanting, I would jump on that as well. What else? And there's a payment plan option for Spicy Queen Academy as well. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'll stay on for a little bit if you have anything that you want to ask, whether on dating, relationships, love, divorce, or anything about any of my programs or offers, how to work together. I would also love to hear a takeaway or aha moment or something that clicked or made sense for you, that resonated. Anything that comes up, for you to type that in the chat, that would be awesome. It just makes me feel so good when you guys get something out of it, right? It makes a difference in your life and in your understanding of where you're at and how to actually get closer to that love and relationship. All right. Do you have to date after divorce to find your soul husband? I guess, what does that mean? Because, like, do you have to put yourself out there and actually date, or is another question coming to mind? Yes. You do have to be open to love. You do have to be open to be able to have a man come into your life, right? You got to be open into that energy. And if you aren't, you don't have to date a bunch of men like I did. I'm not saying that. Most of my clients actually don't date a bunch of men. One of my clients actually went on her first date after divorce. Actually, yeah. It was her first date in like 10 years. And she ended up finding her man. So it's not that you have to go on a bunch of dates, but you will actually, if anything, you do the opposite, because when we're working together, you don't do what I did, right? I didn't have someone like me to walk me through all of that. I kept making a lot of the same mistakes over and over. But when you are able to do this work for yourself, you do have to put yourself out there. Yeah. Exactly. Shilpa made the mistake, so we don't have to. So you don't have to go on a million dates like I did. You are able to go on a whole lot less. But I walk you through all these things so you get to process the lessons. So you don't have to. You don't have to make mistakes. Anything else coming to mind? Oh, you're welcome. Beautiful. Thank you so much, ladies. I love teaching. I love being here and being able to support my community. I love getting to know you. So even if you're watching the replay, I would love for you to send me an email, a message on Instagram, anything for me to just know what's on your heart, what's on your mind, what you took away from it, any wins, any realizations, any aha moments, anything that resonated or connected to your heart, and be able to just message that to me. That makes me feel so good, because obviously this class is free. I'm doing it from my ability to serve my clients, but also invite you into a space to do this deeper work together. So if anything does resonate and hits you at your heart, or you want to sign up and you're ready to attract your soul husband and you're ready to have that happen for you in 2026, and you're ready for that love of your life to walk in, your forever love, then also DM me, also message me. Or if you're like, nope, I want to do the prep work, I'm ready to do the prep work, I want to just prepare, I'm not ready to put myself out there yet, then come into Spicy Queen Academy as well. That's open for you too. That's a 2-month program, and we start that next month as well. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for asking questions, for just being present. Thank you so much. I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you, Shay. Thank you. It's the truth. And now I help a lot of other women have the same stories. Not the same exact stories, but similar, where they get to have the love that they want to. Beautiful. Thank you guys. Thank you, ladies.